Hi, and welcome to Racing with Remy. I'm your host, Remy, and today I'm recording with my dad today.
Hello.
And since we had a 1 week absence, the answer? There was only one race, and it was ARCA. ARCA also raced this weekend that just passed with F1, and their three F3 races we're covering, and we have a silly season update and a driver profile. Now, before we begin though, I just want to give a notice that about 52% of you guys watching aren't actually subscribed. Come on, what's up with that? Subscribe, ring the notification bell, and like to keep up to date with every video we put out.
Okay, so if you caught all of that, yes, we took a week off because there was only one series racing. That week was ARCA. We went to the beach. We had fun. We had a nice family vacation over the summer. But we're back. We're recapping two weeks of racing with 2 ARCA races, an F1 race, 3 F3 races, and then everything else. So Remy, let's get it started with the one we missed. It was ARCA at Iowa.
Sammy Smith spun out.
Yes, Sammy Smith spun out. There was a crash earlier in the race, too, that we saw on the highlights, but they didn't let us know who the driver was.
Yeah. Ty Gibbs won.
Ty Gibbs, another one for ARCA. He's doing very well there. He and Corey Heim are having a nice race for the championship. I think Ty's going to win it, but, we'll see what happens. All right, so after week 1 in Iowa, this past week they were in Winchester.
Ty Gibbs got into Brandon Varney, and they both crashed.
Yep, Ty Gibbs, Brandon Varney got together. Ty Gibbs had to have a lot of work done on his vehicle.
And Varney crashed out.
And Varney was out, yes.
Then, Taylor Gray turns Daniel Dye, and Nick Sanchez, who is coming along, gets hit by the rear end. And for a moment, I thought Nick Sanchez's car was sawed in half from that for a moment. But he was just an innocent victim, Sanchez.
Yeah, Gray and Dye get together. Both of them spin, and then Sanchez has nowhere to go and ends up hitting Dye. Takes Dye out of the race. I believe it took Sanchez out of the race.
It did take Sanchez out of the race.
I think Gray was able to continue, but he was way behind. One of them racing deals.
Yep. Then we have Ty Gibbs turns Corey Heim, as Corey Heim and Ty Gibbs were both about to lap Thad Moffitt.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. You hate to see one leader end up spinning out another leader, whether intentional or on purpose. Intentional or accidental. You never want to see that. I'm sure Ty Gibbs was not trying to wreck Corey Heim, but, it happened. Corey Heim, it would have been interesting to see what happened if he hadn't spun out.
Yep, but Corey Heim still was able to continue, but just would have had trouble getting back up.
Yeah, he wound up with a top 5 finish, but it'd be interesting to see if he could have held off Ty or if he'd have finished second even.
Then Ty Gibbs won.
Another win for Ty Gibbs. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Ty's going to win the championship. All right, that wraps up ARCA. Next up, we're going to Budapest, Hungary, and the Grand Prix of Hungary in Formula One.
The Hungarian Grand Prix starts off with a big one involving Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll, Lando Norris, Sergio Perez, and Sebastian Vettel. Venom.
Sebastian Vettel. Yes, it was a very, very bad crash there at the beginning. It was really wet on the track when they did that. And so it led to a crazy thing that happened when they came back around. Everybody but Lewis Hamilton pitted to change tires. So Lewis Hamilton wound up taking the green by himself.
Yep.
But it wound up backfiring on Hamilton in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Then Nikita Mazepin and Kimi Raikkonen have a pit road collision.
Yes, Nikita Mazepin and Kimi Raikkonen collide on pit road. Unfortunate situation there. What happened next, bud?
Then Esteban Ocon won.
Esteban Ocon won. It was his first career win in Formula One. He's a Grand Prix winner. It's awesome. Lewis Hamilton, like I said, while he started on his own, he wound up having to change his tires to the rain tires as well. He wound up finishing third, so he got on the podium.
And did better than Verstappen.
So he gained some points, but still, it didn't work out. If he'd have come in and pitted with everybody else, he was already in front of them. He has the fastest pit crew. He probably would have led every lap. All right, but that's F1. Let's move over to F3. They had two like heat races and then the feature race.
Starting off with the first heat race, someone with the last name of Cohen, I didn't catch their first name, went airborne and crashed with Jack Crawford.
Yeah, I don't know the driver, so I can't even help you on that one. I'm sorry.
Then Lorenzo Gallambo won.
Yes, so that wraps up the first race. Let's go to the second race of F3 this weekend.
Matteo Manini won.
Matteo Manini. And then what happened in the feature race?
Victor Martins crashes right away.
Tough break for Martins.
The same person with the last name of Cohen has a crash.
Mm-hmm.
And Dennis Hauger won.
Yes, Dennis Hauger won the feature race. I think they said it was his third win of the season. He's having a pretty good year in F3. That'll wrap up the race recap portion of Racing with Remy this week, but we have a silly season update. Trackhouse Racing has announced that their second driver for next season. We told you they already own the car driven by Daniel Suarez. They've acquired Chip Ganassi Racing for next season. We don't know if they will run both of the Chip Ganassi cars, but we know they will run one of them. And Ross Chastain, who was already driving the number 42 for Chip Ganassi, will drive for Trackhouse next season. We don't know what will happen to the one of Kurt Busch. We don't know what number it will be either at this point in time. But Ross Chastain will be Daniel Suarez's teammate next season. All right, and that does it for the silly season update. Let's move on to our driver profile.
Jinx! Anyways, let's not play any more of those games for right now. But for our next driver profile, drum roll like he's doing! Lee Petty!
Lee Petty. Tell us about Lee Petty.
He won the first ever Daytona 500 in 1958, but
59.
59?
It was 59.
According to a book I read, it said 58.
No, the first Daytona 500 was 59. Probably a typo.
And so, but the thing is, he and his son Richard dominated Daytona in 1960, which was also the same race with the 37 car pileup that I talked about. But then in 1961 at Daytona, Richard Petty had a crash where he went over the wall. Then I already talked about that one. It's the one where Lee Petty and Johnny Beauchamp both had their careers ended when they went over the wall.
Yes, Lee Petty, as I said, the first ever winner at the Daytona 500, the father of Richard Petty. Lee won 3 championships. He won 50 races. Then also you have, he that's a Hall of Fame career, but his son Richard wound up outdoing him. It's also the father of Maurice Petty, a well-respected mechanic. He was not a driver like his father and brother, but he was a well-respected mechanic in NASCAR. And he's the grandfather of Kyle Petty, 8-time winner in NASCAR's Top Series. Last win came in 1995. And he was the grandfather of Adam Petty, who was looked to be doing very well before in NASCAR, following in his family's footsteps before his tragic death at the age of 20 in a crash at New Hampshire. But Lee Petty is a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. And he's the father of the king. So does that make him the king emeritus, I guess? I don't know. But that'll wrap up racing with Remy this week. So next week, the NASCAR is back. They're going to Watkins Glen. I believe IMSA is racing at Road America. There should be IndyCar returning as well, and F1 should have another race. I don't know about F2 or F3 on that. I have not looked closely at Supercars and Super 2. I know they didn't race in the 2 weeks we were off. They should be back sometime in August though. So we have that. So Remy, take us home.
So you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and all your favorite podcatchers. And we're also on YouTube, sending a link to our flowcode page in the description. And there's going to be another link in the description for my dad and mom's YouTube channel with my wife Pod. If you
that link is actually in the flow code. If you click the flow code link, it will take you. He's a little off on it, but if you click the flow code link, it will take you to a list of things. You can find all the places where his audio form is. You can find the video link on YouTube to see YouTube, and you can find our website withmywifepod.com, and it also will take you to our merchandise store. But thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
Bye.